Okay, early starts for the Cloud Plays channel as we go into Helldivers 2 today with loads more information coming up from the CEO with regards to mechanics that he's going to be talking to the team about. We've also got a maneuver on how they actually operate a little bit behind the scenes over at Arrowhead and some appreciation post towards the developers. On top of that, we're going to also talk about the nerfs and the buffs with a weapon that you guys definitely need to be using because it changed up my gameplay ridiculously. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor for today's video, Control Freak, the #1 in controller gaming aiming. That's right, we made it rhyme, but not only that, if you head down to the description today and utilize code CloudPlays, we'll get you a cheeky 12% off your purchase at checkout using the link in the description. That being said, let's dive on into the news at hand. So starting off, we spoke yesterday about the post of somebody jumping on top of the mech and utilizing a flamethrower on top. This thing was absolutely crazy. It runs really, really well, except people are now seeming to think that it may make the game even better as far as a quality of life improvement for mechs. Now, the CEO actually responded to this post and stated quite a simple statement. What's the quality of life needed here? It already works except for the network prediction. Serious question, by the way, I really want to know. Now, somebody actually responded to him stating, I think he's asking for a feature where you approach the friend and hit a button and specifically climb on top without having to use a jump pack to actually have to maneuver yourself on top of that machine. He responded with, good point, let me talk to team. Now, this is a great indication because realistically, having that mechanic there to be able to jump on the top and use it as almost like a extra feature works very, very well. Will it be able to kind of sustain the capability of what the mech's actually available there for? We don't actually yet know. This is something that you can do as of right now, though. If you are running a jump pack, you can just get on top of there and be able to utilize it as almost like an extra mounted weapon, and it works very, very well. Now, somebody actually responded, that's what I came to mind when I saw that, as far as it being an actual Titanfall 2 vibe, but it states definitely a natural element of warfare when you have tanks and mechs like that. Now, the CEO actually responded with, yeah, I'd like to keep it systematic instead of a mount point. It makes it more cinematic. And that is definitely something that we need to take into consideration. As of right now, it does seem to work very, very well, just the way it's being utilized with the cinematic movement of being able to use your main jump pack, jump on top of there. It creates some absolutely phenomenal gameplay, and it just makes for some hilarious moments if you manage to nail this down correctly. Let me know what you guys are thinking via the comments section though. Would you want a button to just mount the top of your friend's mech to be able to shoot from above it, or do you reckon it's a little too risque? Let me know via the comment section below. Next up though, we do have some talk about the armored parts. Now, as far as ricochets go and stuff like that, everybody is still talking about that bloody weapon. The bloody railgun seems to be an absolute nightmare. I've used it myself the last 24 hours, so I tried to stay away from it and wanted to see if I can make the game work without actually having to utilize the quote-unquote most OP weapon in the game, and I've had so much fun with the game up until this point. I tried using the railgun and it just makes absolutely no bloody sense to me at all. Obviously, after the nerf, it is not doing the damage output that you guys want it to do, obviously, especially when it comes down to armor penetration. Now, somebody actually put, what people are telling him is that armored parts, especially for charges, isn't functioning right with unsafe mode. The patch notes implied that unsafe mode itself was made so that it was performing the same as before, but it isn't. Now, the CEO actually responded to this one stating, well, you can always get a reflection and ricochet depending on angle on armor. Anything beyond that? Now, for me personally, that is pretty much the biggest problem as far as the charges go. The ricochet on the armor is absolutely ridiculous. My key factor for a support weapon is generally the laser cannon. That thing is absolutely OP as hell, and it's great fun. Although even that manages to have some some ricochet points, and there are quite a substantial amount of ricochet points. It's a ridiculous motive, but it does seem to work very well, and it does make the game really like high impact. You actually have to concentrate on what you're doing, you actually have to be invested in the gameplay, and you can't just breeze through it while watching a show on Netflix running a railgun that is mega OP. For me, there's no complaints from this at all. I personally am quite happy with the way that the patch has panned out, and I'm still having a load of fun, but it just means that you have to lower the level cap and drop down to the level below to be able to work your way back up with a different weapon. You just need to not allow the factor and understand it that you can't just run into the hardest part of the game and just expect to be able to complete it every single time. Next up though, we have got some talk about the team at Arrowhead, as somebody was talking about how their most recent staff meetings would go and how there'd be hearty thank yous for developers and stuff like that, and I think that that is absolutely incredible. Now the CEO actually responded with a really nice message, and I actually have no reason to announce this one, but realistically this is just absolutely lovely, and I love the way that he looks at this because it makes for a really good work placement for the developers that are making a game that we love and enjoy. He states, "Indeed, a consistent reminder of what the team have managed to do. It's a Herculean effort that will stay with them through their careers, no matter if they choose to stay or move on. A game is a product of all of those that were there, and no one can take that away from each developer. So we always have SOs attend all parties and dinners, since their support is what helps the team push to deliver. SOs are also a good indicator on the morale and mood of the studio. They are an important perspective on how we are doing as a company when it comes to taking care of all employees." Massive round of applause. I think the biggest problem in the gaming industry right now is that most game development teams, development companies, they don't really show their appreciation, to the point that we have some companies hitting the headlines for some absolutely unheard of monstrous things. But these guys at Arrowhead, I've got so much support for them, it is insane. And I think that no matter how much I enjoy the game, the team at Arrowhead always have a place in my heart as far as being able to develop underneath decent measures and actually have a love for the game and a passion and a fire that you just don't see nowadays when it comes to modern development teams. That's just my per 2 cents on it. If you want to put your 2 cents in it, head down to the comment section. I'm not going to approach any more on it, but I just want you guys to know that I've got so much appreciation for the development team that I think this is going to be a game I stick to for the foreseeable future, no matter how the turnout. Next up though, we have got some complaints about the nerfs yet again. For me personally, just get over it. They've made it pretty well known that this is how it's going to work, and the balancing is going to be balanced. It's not going to be overpowered, and it's not going to run always in your favor. You just have to adapt and strategy move yourself into different sectors and segments. But anywho, nonetheless, this states right here, revert the nerfs. I've played today for the first time after the changes. Basically, every weapon is useless now. I would ask for a refund if I didn't invest 40 hours in already. Now, the CEO was really confused by this as he stated, but how is that possible since we did 3 nerfs and 20 buffs? What are you running? Now, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to take a guess on exactly what it is that they were running, and that's just hilarious. And this is something that just absolutely rattles my cage. There is not a meta in this game. You can do this game with pretty much any weapon that you select inside of it. Some of them aren't so great, but we're going to tell you guys about a primary weapon in a second that is really good for me, and I absolutely love it. But shock, he was running the breaker, railgun, and shield, and they're the 3 that were just completely nerfed. It just makes absolutely no sense how people aren't listening to this. You need to make sure you're running diversely. I do run some of the same stratagems every single time. I love the orbital laser, and I love using the clusters as long as I can obviously utilize them in the right way. They are 2 that stick with me throughout most missions, and everything else kind of switches with shield packs when I'm working against automatons and so on and so forth. There are just certain things that will change up throughout each one, but you need to make sure that you are running different things, trial new weapons. Now, before we get into the weapon that you guys need to be utilizing, this is something that we guys are here for. Now, we're going to be giving you guys an opportunity to win a copy of Helldivers 2, and if you've already got a copy of Helldivers 2, then we are going to be giving you guys the money equivalent in super credits. Now, we are going to be doing it over the next few days. I believe tomorrow is Monday, so we may announce the winner tomorrow and get you guys in there and start another giveaway straight off the bat, so make sure you stay tuned. But if you want to get involved with this one, you head down to the comment section and stick in a green heart. It'd be greatly appreciated. This enables me to be able to select one of you guys tomorrow and be able to give you guys what you're needing. Good luck to everybody involved, but with that being said, we're going to dive on into the weapon that you guys really need to be utilizing as a primary weapon. Obviously, the breaker is no longer really a viable option, so what is it you should be using? Well, this whole video, we have been utilizing a weapon called the Liberator Penetrator. This is on page 6 of your Helldivers Mobilize, and this, for me, changed up my gameplay no end. I know a lot of people are already using this, and some people will be using other things, but if you are not quite at the point where you can be on the page 10 or even on the page 9 and running the high weapons that people are really going for nowadays, such as the Slugger, which a lot of people are using, you can run up to page 6 really easily and get hold of the Liberator Penetrator. Now, this one actually has a medium armor penetrating mechanism, which is, I believe, one of the first few that you manage to get your hands on, as everything before that point is pretty much light armor penetrating, including the original breaker that was on here. This is a really good gun. It has such a massive kick to it. For some reason, when looking down scope, it just feels so damn good, and for me, I won't be turning back until I have a better equivalent. For me, this is an AR that just runs no end. Medium armor penetrating, it has a decent capacity, the recoil isn't too bad, and the fire rate is incredible as long as you've got a decent trigger finger. Go ahead, use the penetrator, let me know and let your colleagues know in the comment section below as to whether that weapon is actually worth using or if I'm just waffling. That's all we've got time for today, unfortunately, guys, but thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate you guys so damn much. You are changing my life every single day as we step closer towards that 100k mark. So if you aren't a subscriber, hit that subscribe button right now. It'd be so damn appreciated. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces. Like, subscribe, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.